Welcome to the Sales Podcast, Session 80. Stop being a hardworking poor person. Welcome to the 80th edition of the Sales Podcast. I'm Wes Schaefer, the Sales Whisperer, your host. Today we have Miss Kim Walsh-Phillips. She is the social media marketing guru for the direct response marketing guru, Dan Kennedy. She found Dan's material about 5 years ago. She had never really heard of direct response marketing, and now she has applied it to her own business to help her grow. And because of her unique usage of this technology and this medium of advertising and combining it with direct response marketing, she's now helping Dan grow his business on Facebook. So, with Kim being a marketer, I thought you would enjoy today's funny. And it says, consider this baffling question. If a book about failures does not sell, is it a success? Deep thoughts from the Sales Whisperer. So, hold up your iPod, hold up your iPhone, hold up your laptop, and repeat after me. Today is my day. I work diligently towards my goals, which are bigger than me. I bite off more than I can chew because only then will I truly know my current limits, and surpassing them becomes my new goal for today. Through education, accountability partners, and bold, decisive action, today will be better than yesterday, and tomorrow will be better yet. I'm ready to produce. If you are ready to produce more sales, The Art of the Close is starting up again September 2nd. So visit theartoftheclose.guru. That's .guru. Theartoftheclose.guru. And I will help you sell mo better, produce more sales results, starting live September 2nd. And now, though, without further ado, here's my interview with Miss Kim Walsh-Phillips. Kim Walsh-Phillips, IO Creative Group, fellow Infusionsoft user, copywriter, entrepreneur. Welcome to the Sales Podcast. How are you?
Thank you. It's a real honor.
So you're hanging out on the balcony. You've got to enjoy the summer, right? Little birds are chirping, and you're taking time out of your busy day to hang out with me. I am humbled. Did I lose you?
Yeah, Wes, I totally lost your audio there for, I don't know what happened. I just heard birds chirp and then you weren't there.
All right. We'll try this again.
Okay.
So, all right. Kim Walsh-Phillips, owner of IO Creative Group, fellow Infusionsoft user, entrepreneur, copywriter for the stars. Welcome to the Sales Podcast. How are you?
Thanks for having me. It's going to be real fun.
So you're hanging out on the balcony. We're losing audio in and out. Who knows if anybody will even hear us, but we can hear the birds. I think it's a bird conspiracy. What kind of birds do you have out there?
I have no idea. But what I have heard is that we're about to get some kind of big storm, so they're all going a little crazy pants. So we'll hear them a little bit.
All right. Well, for our listeners that have led a sheltered life and do not know you, would you mind taking a minute or two, give us a little thumbnail sketch of who you are and what you do?
Sure. So I'm a direct response marketer whose focus is on digital, focus around social media and email, but taking online leads and customers and converting them via some offline strategies like direct mail and referral programs. So we're all over the place, but most of our stuff starts online, completely direct response. Never knew what it was. About 5 years ago, started implementing it in a business I had already had for 10 years, changed everything, and we get to work with incredible businesses, helping them achieve their financial metrics using direct response marketing.
So you had a business for 10 years and you ran across direct response marketing and just shifted gears and took off with it?
Yeah, it was an immediate change. No. No, it was a very painful thing. Yeah, I had owned my agency for 10 years. It was based in what I had been doing. I'd done a lot of work in the luxury event market of South Florida. Miami, Palm Beach, and it was all very image driven, and I enjoyed it, but I made no money. And when the contract would end, we would lose the contract because what we did was fluff. What we did was a dime a dozen. It was a commodity, and we could be traded in and out very easily for something else in our client's budget. And it was an incredibly painful process. I worked all the time. I was the hardest working poor person you would ever want to know. There were people enjoying life a lot more, making more money than me, not working nearly as hard, but I worked my butt off to have nothing. And then John Lee Dumas, one of my friends, mentions this as the baby effect. I got married, I got pregnant, and everything changed. I had to find a different way of operating. And it was really through, I'm a spiritual woman, and it was through some prayer and I believe an answer given. And Dan Kennedy enjoys me telling that it was through prayer that I found him. And someone gave me Dan Kennedy's direct response marketing book, and it was my introduction to him, direct response marketing, and I was hooked. I became an immediate student, and the cool thing about owning a marketing company is I got to test everything on my own agency first, then started testing it on my clients, and when it started producing results, everything changed.
So where did you start, and where should similar business owners and entrepreneurs start? If, they are, we always hear the statistics, 80 or 90% of businesses go out of business in the first 5 years or 10 years or whatever, and then 90% of those remaining go out of business, and 90% of those, good grief. It's depressing. I think I need a drink. It's only 9 o'clock. Is it okay to drink? It's like noon where you are. All right, I'm drinking.
Oh, yeah. I'm at the beach, so it's always okay to drink here.
All right, very cool. So where did you start, and where should others start if they have to shift gears? Maybe they got married, maybe they got divorced, maybe they had a kid, and they've got to make money.
Yeah, so here's the thing. I always knew the philosophy of doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results is a sign of insanity. I understood that. But here's what I didn't get. I thought if I did the same thing over and over again, but just did more of it, as in worked harder, I could get better results. And I couldn't. I could not work any harder. So what I implore is, if you're listening and you feel like you're just not getting the right results, it may not be that you're not working hard enough. It might be that you're doing the wrong things. I truly had to completely change my strategies in order to achieve different results for myself and for my clients. And one of my first steps was to seek out individuals that I saw as being successful. And I say that because sometimes, especially working with a lot of successful gurus now, you never know what happens until you get behind the curtain. Mm-hmm. But it's a good starting point of starting with those you see as successful and just reaching out to them and asking, hey, can I buy you a cup of coffee? Or, hey, can I talk to you for 15 minutes? And just ask them, what are 2 things they would suggest that you do? Or what's one book that you should read? Or what's one group you should go to? Just start getting advice from people who are really successful to do something different than what you're doing right now to start changing the kind of results that you're getting.
So what did you do? You were in this, what you call fluff marketing, right? And I see a lot of people doing this, spending time making pretty images, Pinterest posts, hanging out on Twitter, not really making money. Like you mentioned John Lee Dumas, Pat Flynn talks about, he went years and did not focus on building an email list, but they were putting out good content. So where should people, once they get good advice, so now I see you as a successful person. I've seen behind the curtain a little bit, hung out with you in April. You're getting things done. What would you say people should do first to turn things around if they're a hardworking poor person?
Yeah, so what's incredible now versus when I started, so I can do back in my day, we didn't have all these opportunities. Yeah. So we didn't, I mean, when I was back in the luxury market, we were on MySpace. So there was a little bit of the social. But now what's amazing, in like an hour, you could start doing the right thing using resources like lead pages to start taking emails in, Facebook to start creating a free web presence and good content. You could start to develop a plan of going after your right group. So the specific focus, if you want to say, today I have nothing, 4 weeks I need to have something, this is what I would do. So we're going to get to nitty gritty right away. Then we get back into big picture. Mm-hmm. But I would 100% do this. I would set up a free GoToWebinar account because for 30 days it's free. Then I would set up, and I think Lead Pages might give a free account up front now, a trial. If not, I think it's $47 a month. So you'd have to pay $47 a month for a Lead Pages account. And what Lead Pages does is it helps you create landing pages that look really good and take no time, and you don't have to hire a designer. And it helps connect GoToWebinar and your landing page together. And then I would create a Facebook page, and I would start writing really good content. So let's say I wanted to do a webinar in 1 month and sell this cool, or even I wanted to sell a sales call. I wanted to sell a consulting time. So I'm just really, really starting out. I wanted to sell an hour-long consulting time for maybe $97. Well, maybe I'm going to talk to people about how to save more money for college. I know that's what I want to sell. I know I want to get them on a webinar to sell them there. So I got to start writing some really good content. And let me just start writing 3 posts a day and putting them on Facebook. Just putting out really good content. And then using Facebook's ads manager, I could start reaching exactly who I want. So maybe I just want to reach people within my zip code who have kids who are about to go into college. I could do that on there. And I can just do that for maybe $25 a day. And I could start getting these people to my fan page, getting them to see my posts. And then maybe 2 weeks from now, I start promoting this webinar I'm going to have. And I start promoting that, and I start sending them the link on GoToWebinar, so they start signing up. And then in 2 weeks, I do a little workshop online. And it's through my free resource, my $47 I spent on Lead Pages, maybe $100 I spent on Facebook ads, and I could get some of my first customers in the door. And so it's just thinking about everything really strategically. What's your end goal? What are you trying to accomplish? What things work that would be the least amount of money you have to spend on them? And how could you start utilizing them to get the right people through the door and on your list?
All right, so that was very specific. The only thing I didn't hear you mention was email. Would you just recommend like a MailChimp account, plug it into your Facebook, or?
Yeah, well, one of the cool things about starting out and GoToWebinar is that it does collect email addresses from you, and it does have a little bit of autoresponder built in.
Yep.
So you have the reply message, and then you are sending people a message 1 week out from the event, a day before the event, an hour before the event. So I would definitely recommend personalizing those messages. And this is a great way to just get started before you have to invest in anything else. But yeah, MailChimp would be great because that also integrates really well with Facebook and Lead Pages and GoToWebinar. And up to 2,000 email contacts, it's free. So that's also a great resource to start using. So if you want to start emailing people some nurture content, and what by that I mean you're nurturing the relationship from knowing nothing about you to utilizing your services, you're going to just start giving them more tips. So maybe each week you give them another tip about saving money for college and talk a little bit about what you're going to talk about on your webinar so you start getting them excited about the event.
Right. I see you advertising a lot. I see your sponsored posts. Mm-hmm. Are there any businesses that should not start with Facebook or can't leverage it, or can anybody with the right strategy and a good ad leverage Facebook?
Yeah, what's amazing, I mean, we're placing thousands of dollars of Facebook ads a day in multiple different industries. So I've been able to see a lot of data. And we have yet to find an industry that can't benefit from that medium. It's amazing, from B2B to B2C, from industrial to consumer, from entertainment to professional services. With the right message going after the right audience, you can be incredibly successful. I think where people screw up is either they try to make it all sales or they make it no sales, and they don't find the right mix to make it work on Facebook.
Gotcha. Because you have to be entertaining, right? I mean, social media, first and foremost, is social. Right.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for some industries, it's not as entertaining. Like we do a lot of work with bankruptcy attorneys, and it's just not a very fun topic. It's just not.
Right.
But what we have found is it still can be engaging. So what we have found works best with that market are quizzes. People still like taking quizzes, and what they quiz themselves on is to find out if they should declare bankruptcy or not. And it sounds like, oh my gosh, would that work? Yeah, it does. It can create a consistent funnel of qualified leads for the attorneys we work with. So it's just finding the right topic that's interactive, that works within that medium, to go after your target customer with.
And do you recommend driving them to a page on like a fan page, or taking them off of Facebook for lead capture and what have you?
Yeah, so I mean, it's one of those, it's good to test it. We like tabs because you can get a 2-for-1 deal when you're doing, so this is getting a little into the technical again, but if you do a desktop newsfeed likes ad, so you're trying to get likes to build up your page, and that could actually be very good, while you can go after likes just for popularity, and that's a complete waste of money. What we have found is fans of fan pages tend to convert better into buyers at a lower cost per customer acquisition than any other audience, even email lists. So, because these are people who are engaged with Facebook, so they tend to respond better. So spending a little bit of time and money building your qualified likes is fantastic. But to do that successfully, you want to get more than just a like. You really want to get an email address too. And if you use the desktop newsfeed version of a likes ad, you can send your new likes to a tab other than your timeline. Mm-hmm. So after they like you, they could be sent to a tab that asks for their email in order to give them some type of incentive. So it's great because you only pay for that like once, but you can get a like and an email out of that one click.
Very nice. And, I see this. I don't do a lot personally with Facebook like this, but just in email marketing, I see so many people literally just waste the thank you page, because basically that's what you're doing, right? As soon as they like, you're essentially taking them to a thank you page. Mm-hmm. And now, are you enticing them in the very beginning? Hey, like us and get this goodie, or do you just say, hey, come like us because we're really cool, and then when they do, you go, hey, surprise, here's a bonus because you're so smart and savvy in liking us?
Yeah, so we have found the best way to get qualified likes is to make the like about the person and not about the brand. This is for going after cold traffic. So for mine, one of my likes ads that works really well is click like if you believe marketing should equal results. So it's more about the beliefs of the individual than it is about anything they're going to get from me, because people tend to like to do things that they are about them. So we make the initial like to cold traffic about the individual's likes and interests. So they're clicking like based on their beliefs, which helps to qualify them. If it's warm traffic, so let's say it's someone you have a good relationship with, or an audience that may know you, or something I tend to do after a podcast like this is I will run a likes ad to your audience, and I will put in, some image of both of us and a quote from the podcast, and then click like if you want to hear more of what we talked about on our interview. So will build on that relationship if that audience might know it. If it's cold traffic, I won't.
So your friends and my friends and followers click on that because they like us, and we're sexy and we know it. Right?
Oh, you know it.
And so then where do you take them? You take them to another tab on your fan page since they're already warm, do you want them to listen to the podcast? Do you want them to opt in for a bonus?
Yeah, I want their email address. And what's really hot is that lead pages, you can do these tabs. So I can do the same. I could duplicate an opt-in form I already have. I can duplicate it really quickly. I can say, thank you for liking our page. If you would like and I have a 6 direct response marketing principles that should be applied to Facebook so you don't set your money on fire report. So if I say, if you would like a copy of this, enter your email address below or claim your copy below and use one of the lead boxes that'll pop up, which works even better. So I don't even have to redo anything except change a little title, and then it can post right to my Facebook page, and I can get from that an email address.
Man, I got to look at lead pages a little more. I can publish straight to Facebook from there?
You sure can.
Man, I was, Infusionsoft owns Grow Social, and I use them for that because it's built in, So, all right, I'm taking notes. I love learning this stuff. All right, so when are you taking people offline? Because I know you do that. You do a lot of work with Dan Kennedy as well. When's the right time? Because Facebook and all this marketing does cost money, but it costs less than a postcard or, heaven forbid, a letter. When's the right time to make that transition?
So this is what we do, but I do some different things based on different clients and their value per customer. So I'll give you a couple of different examples. But for ourselves, we are only sending offline mail generally to people who have spent some kind of money with us. So anybody who's bought a product, even I think my threshold might be $30, but I'm not sure what it is at this point now, how my campaign is set up. But anyone who buys a product of some kind gets something in the mail from us. So if you're enrolled in a course that hasn't happened yet, you get a card and brownies to enjoy until the course starts. We have a membership program, so you can get a monthly printed newsletter. So we'll send you a month of that. If you just bought a course but didn't sign up for the newsletter, we still send it to you. We are sending things in the mail to customers. So we're not investing dollars in people who haven't developed into a customer, except if they're a high-level prospect. Now, on the flip side, for some of our customers whose clients are difficult to get to, like physicians would be an example, we're using direct mail heavily in the customer acquisition process. So I'll give you an example. We have one that we're trying to reach physicians, and we're FedExing physicians a mailer to their home. We have found that to be the best way to reach them. At the same time, I'm taking those email addresses, and what some people don't realize is you can export the email addresses you have in your contacts on LinkedIn. You can export them into a CSV file, and you can't advertise. I don't know why LinkedIn hasn't done this yet, but you cannot advertise to your contacts. So I can't sponsor an update and make sure all my contacts see it. But I can export my contact list, and I can import it into Facebook and advertise just to those people.
Yep.
So for physicians, we'll do a mailer to their home. At the same time we send them an email, we also advertise to them on Facebook, and we'll do a follow-up phone campaign. So we're hitting them as a 4-for-1 in a short period of time with not spending a lot of money. So that's been good. But obviously, FedExing to each person's house is a lot more money than sending an email. So it makes sense if you have a high ROI.
And assuming you have their email address, I guess with spend enough money, you can buy the right list with their contact info, huh?
Well, you don't. I'm saying if they're a LinkedIn contact, you can export it.
Yeah.
It comes with their email address on there. So you do a campaign to go ahead and connect with all these people on LinkedIn ahead of time, and then you don't have to purchase anything.
Yeah. How many people, though, do you see really using LinkedIn properly? I mean, I see, again, a lot of people just messing around.
Oh, yeah. They don't need to have been on there at all. They just have to have had an account created for themselves. It's just crazy. You can export their email address.
But you have to be connected with them, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So
you do.
That's assuming the salesperson or business owner is taking the time to reach out to these physicians or these hard-to-reach people. I mean, it just takes time. You can't just, LinkedIn, you get too many, and I've had this happen over the years. They'll suspend your account or, limit you from sending connection requests if too many people say they don't know you. So you got to be careful.
Oh, yeah, for sure. You want to be engaging with them. I mean, that could be a whole other conversation between us. You want to be engaging them in a way that connects you. But if you're going after referral sources and you know other people that they might know, that's the best way to get started. I know so-and-so, I'd love to connect with you here. But if you don't want to buy a list, or you don't want to take time on LinkedIn, another reason why I love Facebook is you can go after specific professions without having to buy a list.
Sure.
So we have campaigns running right now for another client to dentists with no list purchase, but we just chose the a college major of dental or dental surgery, and we can reach dentists directly without having to buy anything. So even if we end up wanting to buy a list later, at least we could see, is there value in this group prior to investing money in a list?
Right. Do you do much? I know Dan has always mentioned like the SRDS for buying lists and what have you. Have you done much work with that?
No, I haven't. I have utilized Craig Proctor, one of his direct mail gurus that will help you through that process, but we haven't done that. We work with incredible mail houses that will help us get the right information that we need.
Yeah, okay. I haven't done much with that either. Heck, it's like, what, $800 just to subscribe to the list, just to subscribe to the database that then gives you the list to go purchase.
That's right.
You got to be ready to spend some money.
Mm-hmm.
So you got married, had a baby, and at the same time exploded your business.
Yeah.
So you are living proof that it can be done, right?
Mm-hmm.
You just have to take the right steps. How did you get exposed to Dan Kennedy, and who helped answer that prayer?
One of my accountability partners, his name is John Toy. He gave me his book. And then I've always been a bit of an obsessive compulsive learner. When I find something that works well, I get pretty deep into it. And I feel very blessed that I have that as a personality trait, because it's certainly been very helpful. So as soon as I read that book, I got hooked. I joined GKIC Insider Circle. Initial level was Gold Club. Started learning from all of the people mentioned, from Ron LeGrand to Susan Berkeley to Pamela Yellen. I just started reading everything these people were writing, taking courses, upgraded my membership, went to the first conference, and I was just completely hooked. And then I ended up getting this incredible opportunity. I was a finalist for one of the GKIC awards and got to go to Winners Weekend. And where I got to present in front of Dan, and we just hit it off from the perspective of he had not met a social media person who understood results and direct response. So, because he saw that it all is fluff. So we did, and he started giving me referrals, and now we do all of Dan's social media for his clients. We do it for GKIC Insider Circle. All the people I learned from we work for now, so Ron LeGrand, Susan Berkeley, Pamela Yellen, they're all my clients. It's just been this crazy roller coaster, and now what's really exciting is that I have we're partnered together for it. It won't come out till next year, but I have the next No BS book, and it'll be the No BS Guide to Direct Response Social Media Marketing with Mr. Dan Kennedy.
Very nice.
Yeah.
When is that coming out?
In 2015.
No, you need an editor proofreader, right?
I think Entrepreneur Press builds all that in for us.
No. You need your own. I'm telling you.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm a gooder reader.
All right.
Sometimes
nice.
my lips don't even move. Sometimes I have 2 books at home, and one's not even colored in. You should send me.
That is fancy.
The PDF, and I will help you. I'm here to help. I'm a giver.
Thank you so much.
So you gave us some good specifics. But what else could you share with our listeners that may not have the budget to hire you if they're going to get started? I mean, do you get into Twitter? Should people be messing with that? Does that tie into Facebook, or can they do one or the other?
Yeah, so a simple thing I like to say, and I'll just run through them quickly. Google Plus, it's great to be on it, not because people are on it, but because Google loves it. So have a Google Plus account, and then just go ahead and post all of your blog content to it. And that's really the only thing you should be bothering to spend time on there for. And if you don't know what to blog about, this is the easiest way to do it. Write down 25 questions that your prospects tend to have for you, or that that are questions people ask you about your industry, and then just write the answers. And or use a service like Textbroker, TEXTBROKER. That's copywriters. They'll write a blog for you for about $10. They have all these industry experts, and they'll write the answer for you. Just start with 25 questions and answers, and those can be your first 25 blogs. Post those on Google Plus and then walk away from Google Plus. For Twitter, that's our recommendation. Twitter. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, let me ask you something. So, I mean,
yes.
I have over 550 blog posts on my site, including podcasts. I publish those as a blog post, but I've got a lot of content out there. Should I go back 6 years and slowly recycle them and put them on Google Plus, or only make new stuff, or what?
No, absolutely post it, because it will help your author ranking. That's what Google calls it, and for content, and it will tend to push your topics to the top of search. So it helps a lot with Google searches, putting that content on Google Plus. So yeah, I would start chirping it immediately.
Post a link to my blog, or actually copy all the content and paste it?
Just post. No, you just have to post a link.
Okay, cool.
Yep. And then that's using that. What I like Twitter for. Twitter is not good for selling anything. But it is really good at getting media stories, list building, and interviews. So what I recommend, again, if you just want to use it for one thing, I recommend to find some media people or podcasters or someone that you want to get involved with, or for them to notice what you're doing, and go to their accounts and then see what content they tend to reshare, like share or retweet to their audiences, and what hashtag. So that's a little pound symbol you see. And it's how on Twitter information is categorized. So kind of like the Dewey Decimal System in libraries, if you know what that is, or how you can categorize something by titles. It's how you look for content. And if you're a thought leader, the reporter or the podcaster tends to retweet or share content under the same category, then you follow that reporter and you start sharing content under that category. And it's a great way to start being discovered by different media outlets and start getting yourself some more PR coverage. I have not found a great ROI with any kind of advertising on Twitter for any of our clients. It seems like it's not the quality, enough quality to match what the ROI is on spend. It can be good for list building, though. So if you want to just build an email list up, it can be pretty quick. But again, it's not cheap. You're always going to be paying a couple bucks generally per email address. We have some exceptions, but it's pretty expensive.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Cool.
And then Pinterest can be excellent for a visual market, one that, but always including links. But LinkedIn is good for one-to-one selling, we have found, and list building also. But for one-to-many and the highest ROI, we continue to find with all of our buys that Facebook is killing all the rest of them. So if you're only going to do one, I would do Facebook.
So it's obviously things have changed, in the last 8-9 months. Everybody's bemoaning the fact of, Facebook, your organic reach, has plummeted from, it had already dropped in the teens. Now it's somewhere around 1%, right? So basically you got to pay to play on Facebook.
Yeah. And I don't, what's amazing to me is people keep complaining about this, but the reality is, I have a lot of really awesome restaurants across the street from my house, and none of them will let me go inside and start eating for free. You can make a lot of money on there, and they're asking you to pay something, but if you can get a higher return than what you get back, then just do it. But you can still do some cool stuff for free. You can build out your email list a little bit. You can get some content out a little bit, and still, even if you never want to pay any money and you grow your list up, and let's say you have 1,000 people and they're only going to show, 30 people a day, your content, you're still reaching 30 people a day for free. Right. So if you never want to reach anybody, you never want to pay any money, you can still do something. But if you want to really play in the real game and get in the sandbox, start making some money, you gotta, start spending some money on there.
Yeah. Do you teach any of this, or do you just have a done-for-you kind of consulting service?
We do teach. We have two sides of our business because we really, over time, have outpriced ourselves from a lot of small businesses. And so we created a course that will teach small businesses how to use Facebook to bring in leads and customers.
Okay, cool.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
We will link to that, or can they find that on your iocreativegroup.com page?
Yeah, it's called our FB Sales Funnel. We don't currently have it open. We do the course live, and registration is currently closed. But
okay.
I have a bunch of free reports. The one I'm going to suggest that people listening to get a hold of is 6socialmediasecrets.com. Either the number or write it out. Either one will work. And if you sign up for our list, then you'll get notification eventually of when it's available. But mostly we're just going to get lots of good content. We don't do a lot of selling on there.
Okay, cool. So what else? What else have we missed? We've done a lot. Honestly, we talked a lot more about social media than I thought we would. Because I know you do a lot with Dan. I was thinking you did a little more on the direct media side. But see, I'm glad we actually spoke because we couldn't talk too much over drinks and food hanging out at Icon this year.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I mean, and the reason why we've gotten so deep into social is truly because of the direct response and the ROI we're getting. And that's the only reason why we'll choose to do anything. And even though it might be like people think something's the hot thing or the exciting thing, it's gonna be our focus if it's making people money. And so I'll just give you a quick example. Talked about Dan Kennedy and GKIC. They just came to me 2 weeks ago and identified that social media and Facebook is bringing them qualified members, so people who've stayed a member for 2 months or more, at a lower cost per member acquisition than any other lead generation they're doing.
Wow.
I mean, that is crazy, right? And so it's an organization who was very anti-social before and gave it a shot, and the numbers they're getting. So here's the thing. I guess this could be one of my final things. There are a lot of social media, quote unquote, experts out there, but you can do it yourself. It does take a lot of time, but please educate yourself before you have somebody start helping you, because there's so many ways to start wasting money on here. Start with very small bits of money, test it, figure out what you're doing, and then also always base your results and your next spend on the actual number of buyers or leads you're getting, because you can actually track that on Facebook. Don't base it on anything else. Reach doesn't matter. Clicks don't matter. Impressions don't matter. The only numbers that matter are your cost per lead acquisition and or your cost per customer acquisition. Nothing else should be counted in moving forward with your marketing plan.
Amen. We will leave it with that. Cost per acquisition is the only thing that matters. You got to count it.
That's right.
Well, fantastic. So we mentioned at the beginning, but people can reach you at iocreativegroup.com, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I assume you have a Facebook page as well, but you want to send them to your website first?
Yeah, that's fine. Or you can connect with me on Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn. It's all the same end URL, and it's Walsh-Phillips. And then that free report's at 6socialmediasecrets.com.
Right. Very nice. All right. Well, I look forward to the book coming out. And thanks for taking the time. Enjoy. You're on vacation right now? Is that what you're doing?
Oh, no, I live at the beach.
Oh, you live at the beach. Well,
I do.
You go. I'm going to have to come hang out with you.
Oh, it's a good town. You should.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, Kim. Have a great day.
Thanks, you too. Bye.
Bye-bye. Lots of good advice in there, and I think always the best advice is to take massive action. You know, Kim had never heard of direct response marketing 5 years ago. Now she's applied it to her business. She's doing it for Dan Kennedy. You know, I like what she said in there, look for people that, quote unquote, appear successful, but then verify that they are, because there are a lot of charlatans out there, a lot of fly-by-nighters and carpetbaggers and people just, they'll come in for a quick hit and be gone. So look for somebody with some, sustainability, but always be looking for new ideas. She had an accountability partner, and this person pushed her to do better, right? Held her accountable. If you are a high-producing salesperson or a business owner, or you aspire to reach new levels, maybe you're still an employee in corporate America, in sales, and you want to take it to another level, find somebody to hold you accountable. Maybe money's tight, so maybe it's just a coworker, somebody that has the same type of aspirations. Okay, but make sure you're hanging out with motivated people that want great things for you. And so that's why sometimes you've got to join mastermind groups. You've got to find a mentor. You've got to find a coach. But find somebody that has been there, done that, and has the battle wounds and the scars to prove it, to help you get there. Okay, like Kim had learned, working harder was not the answer. And it is not the answer. Now, that's not to say you don't work hard. I still work hard. I just interviewed Larry Wingett this morning. His interview will come out next week. I'm pulling his up ahead of some of the others. It was just a great interview. But he's still a hardworking dude. But you know what? He shuts down on Fridays. He shuts down on the weekends. And so I'm getting better at shutting down. But in the meantime, I still work hard. Hard work, hard-focused work is the key. Surrounding yourself with great people, delegating as much as you can. Okay, you've got to realize you don't have to do everything. Surround yourself with great people and hold them accountable. Raise your level of expectations of everyone around you, and you'll be surprised pleasantly at how much more you do achieve. Kim had some great advice in there about how to launch quickly. Get a free trial of GoToWebinar. Get a 1-month account with Lead Pages. So that costs you maybe $47. Run some ads. Maybe it costs you $10 a day on Facebook to start driving traffic. And you know what? So what if only a few people attend? I have done webinars or promotions trying to do a webinar and had nobody attend. Okay? So the only way to learn is to bloody your knuckles and keep going, or spend a lot of money to hire somebody to do it for you, right? I don't have no shows anymore, but if you want me to help you, it would cost you a chunk of change. So care enough to get started, care enough to fail, care enough to do things poorly until you master it. But, you can't steer a parked car, right? You've got to be in motion. Aircraft going from point A to point B using their GPS are constantly readjusting. Winds and air pressure, whatever, always pushing planes off course, and they're always readjusting, but they're in motion. They're heading towards their intended destination. So you've got to get moving. And that's why you're listening to this podcast, because I'm moving, because Kim, this particular interview, Kim took massive action. She got her butt into gear, started moving, and applied what she learned to her business. Okay? As you'll learn in the next episode with Larry Wingett, we talk about selling, and you've got to get out there, make things happen, ask for the order. As I mentioned at the beginning of this podcast, September 2nd, The Art of the Close is firing up again. With your enrollment, you get immediate access to 30-day sales growth. That's a $197 course. So check out theartoftheclose.guru. I'll be doing some live webinars, reviewing it during the month of August. We'll be kicking it off September 2nd. As always, I appreciate you for listening. Please leave a comment or two on the blog, and be sure and share it on iTunes. Invite some folks out. It really does help get the word out. And the more I can grow, the more people I can help for free, which helps us all. Thanks for listening, and remember to sell different.